A little over a week ago, Kyrie Irving would share a link to a documentary and would receive backlash from the media and others for anti-Semitic views. Irving wouldn't immediately apologize after being pressured by the league. Nick Cannon, who was also labeled to have anti-Semitic views in the past, has now spoken out in his defense. During a conversation with the CEO of the Anti-Defamation League, Jonathan Greenblatt, Nick Cannon would discuss Kyrie's comments and why they were considered anti-Semitic. Now, if you remember, several years ago, Cannon found himself in trouble after a conversation with Professor Griff, which led him to being labeled anti-Semite, just like Kyrie is being labeled now. Today we have our comedy hype analyst, Pierre, as well as Capone, calling to the studio, along with our research analyst, Danielle Miller, to give their thoughts and reactions. But first, let's take a look at this clip.
I can wholeheartedly say I know Kyrie Irving is not anti-Semitic.
When given the chance to say, are you anti-Semitic or not, he didn't say, no, I'm not anti-Semitic. Tell us about that movie, why he did. He said, stop dehumanizing me. And the movie is saying white Jews invented the Holocaust and 6 million Jews didn't get killed. Okay, I know that isn't right. Jewish people know when you dehumanize us this way, we know what's around the corner.
So in that same statement as those are the tropes that dehumanize Jewish people, the same buck breaking.
What's that? I don't really know what that means.
The slave masters would bring the buck, the one that gets out of line. So all the other slaves would see lash after lash, show them the power to set an example. This is what you must do to fall in line. So when we see the 6 things that Kyrie must do to get his job back, that's dehumanizing.
Now, there's a couple things we're going to break down there, but first, of course, I want to get your reaction, but also, ask the question, do you think it's smart for Nick Cannon to be speaking out in Kyrie Irving defense, being, the past that we have seen with Nick Cannon? Pierre, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on that?
I just wish that we would hold other people accountable in the same position when they do us that way. I don't know how we can't get together and make them apologize. We're asking them to apologize for something they did wrong. Sure. That video is out. Has some unfactual stuff in it. Even Kyrie admitted to it, just in case they're on the comments. He admitted there was some unfactual stuff in there. And he apologized for supporting something that was unfactual, but some stuff was factual. Well, where's the same thing when we get put that in the same position? When someone puts something out about us and it's not factual, where is our come together to make that group or situation apologize for that? That's what I had.
Absolutely. Capone, let me bring you in and get your thoughts. What's your reaction to that video? But also, do you feel it's smart for Nick Cannon to speak out in defense of Kyrie Irving?
I agree with Pierre on that part. Definitely he should, Nick Cannon, like he said, experienced it. So it's a good thing for him to say it. But it's amazing to me that the same things that they accuse us of doing, they don't know anything about. Like when he told them about the buck stuff, I don't know what that is. Tell me about it. You don't read history? There's no history about us. It's just about what is important to y'all. And so with that being said, then maybe if they did a little research about what we hurt when they say these things about us, then maybe there would be a little bit more sympathy about the things that they said and stop pointing the finger so easily.
Danielle, let me bring you in. I'd love to get your thoughts on this. What's your reaction to the video? But also, do you feel it's smart for Nick Cannon to, come in defense of Kyrie Irving?
I think that was a dope point Capone made at the fact that he didn't even know what buck breaking was. And what I would have liked to seen from Nick is actually him admitting that he was in that buck breaking situation as well, because they made him apologize or else you wouldn't get your show, because they pushed back the airing of his show back in 2020 to 2021 as they reviewed his actions. They also put Wildin' Out in jeopardy, which puts in jeopardy the livelihood of many cast members and crew members of Wildin' Out as well. So I'd have loved to hear him first say that he was in that position, and then also go into detail on exactly how he felt being in that position and how he felt being humiliated as well. And his situation was much more unique than Kyrie, because again, with Wildin' Out, there's a lot of people that depend on him for an income. They depend on that show for an income. They look at him as the face. So that would have just been interesting to me to play more with that dynamic and more to the conversation. But Capone made a great point in terms of how, he didn't even know how what buck breaking was. Is it right for Nick to speak out in Kyrie's defense? Is it smart for him to speak out in Kyrie's defense? I'm sorry, that was the question. I think I agree with the two gentlemen because he's already been there. He knows both sides of the spectrum. I think he would be the best person to advocate.
Absolutely.
Let me ask something. Okay, on both of you guys. Just playing devil's advocate. You're asking that Jewish man to know about buck breaking. If you think if he's responsible for should know about buck breaking, then whenever Black people talk about Jewish situations, then we should know everything about Jewish situations. Because I don't mind if he should know it, because they're going to say you don't know us. Because during the Holocaust, I know people are going to say they knew this, but do you know it wasn't always just Jews in the concentration camp? There were Germans in concentration. So it wasn't just the Jews, it was the Germans too. But see, a lot of Black people didn't know that. So is it our job to know everything about the Holocaust and how Jewish people are treated in every situation? Because if that's the case, then I understand you saying he should know about buck breaking. But if he doesn't know about buck breaking, I don't need to know everything about Jewish situations either, not every single thing.
But Pia, did we even have a choice to learn about the Holocaust? Because I live in the Bahamas.
Yeah, we have books. We have books.
I live in the Bahamas.
We have everything out. Yes, we do. We do have.
I
read about it
with that, Mo. It's very evident when we hurt them, they let us know.
Sure.
When they hurt us, we let them know, but nobody cares. Doesn't care. We're still talking about reparation. We're still talking about every single thing, and they tell us with slavery, come on, that's been the past. Let it go. But we still have to accept what the Holocaust was.
We got to find a way to make noise enough to where we feel like we are being heard or whatever. Why don't we come together as a group and make that noise? Big enough. I mean, I don't like to seem like we are what's powerless. Because what I'm hearing is Black people, we're powerless. We speak up, ain't nothing gonna happen for us. Well, then why do we keep fighting if we're powerless? I believe Black folks have power. We just got to come together and make it happen. We fight so much amongst ourselves. It seems like it. You know what I'm saying? We can disagree, but fight amongst each other.
Well, I want to move us right along because as I mentioned earlier, there are 6 points that they're asking from Kyrie Irving, and I want to list those and come back to you all. So they're asking him to apologize and condemn the film he promoted, making a $500,000 donation to anti-hate causes, complete sensitivity training, complete anti-Semitism training, meet with the ADL and Jewish leaders, and lastly, meet with the owner, Joe, to demonstrate, an understanding of the situation. So, Capone, I'll actually start with you on this one.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
They made it plain and clear that, hey, before you can even come back to us, these are the things that you must do in order to do so. So I'd love to get your thoughts, Capone. Do you agree with the list of requirements Kyrie was asked?
Hell no. Hell no. You can't hold me back from saying this, so I'm going to say it. He didn't put out the movie. Amazon still got paid for it. They're not even talking about what Amazon should do. They're not putting anything out there where telling Amazon or the Jewish people not to support Amazon or nothing. They're making Kyrie go through all of this, and it's modernized slavery. That's what it is. And there's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. You got to do all of this. When he didn't create the movie, what about the director? What about Amazon that is still to this day making money off of it? Oh, they'll shut it down eventually after Amazon done made about 30 million. It was privately shown. So you damn sure have to pay to go see it.
I always say this in a lot of shows. The way the world works may not seem fair, but it's a system. It is all about politics. Do I agree with the requirements or not? Of course, I think they're extensive, but it goes back to the system and them making an example. And that's why what Nick Cannon said about the big buck breaking is the perfect example. Remember, Kyrie is still not vaccinated. Kyrie is still not vaccinated when other players had to be vaccinated. So they already gave him some type of leeway as to say that, okay, you're still playing, you're not vaccinated. Now you reposted, you shared this movie that is offensive to us. We've asked you to apologize. You didn't apologize. We still allowed you to play. You sat quiet on it. So now we have to make an example out of you. So it's like when you're not trying to let that rope get too far, when you're trying to make sure that you keep somebody on that leash, so to say. I think that's what they're doing with Kyrie Irving. So literally, this is just them making an example out of him. And that's why the list is so extensive. So it gets to the minds of others that, look, if you try to get out of line and think that you can get out scot-free, think again, bro. Think again.
Pierre, let me bring you in and get your thoughts as well. You know, with the 6 demands being made very clear, what are your thoughts? Do you agree with those demands in order for Kyrie to rejoin the Nets, that he should complete those 6 items?
It's not up to me to decide. It's up to Kyrie to see if it's worth it. I'm not in his position, so I can't say if it's worth it. Does he want to continue to play basketball, or does he want to retire? If he wants to retire, don't say shit, say kick rocks or whatever. Like he said himself, there was stuff in that film that was incorrect, and he, admitted it was incorrect from what he learned. I agree with Capone wholeheartedly. Amazon's making all this money. Amazon ain't being, but the Jews ain't coming against Amazon, or whoever's being seen, that they're not making a noise about that. That's shameful that they should be on Amazon's case for releasing that kind of stuff. As far as Kyrie getting in trouble and having to do that, well, there's been others that got in trouble that wasn't his color. Don Imus called them black girls at Rutgers, nappy net, whatever, hoes and shit. His career was pretty much over after that. Remember the coach of the Los Angeles Clippers, when he had that phone call conversation and he said something about black folks, he lost his team. So yeah, if you speak out against something wrong, your ass is getting in trouble. Yes, every situation in the world don't happen like that. But you talk about somebody in a negative form, in another color, you see what happened to Don Imus and the gentleman, the old dude from the Nets, from the Clippers. You lose your job. It's what we living in. You ain't no freedom of speech no more. Not freedom of speech. You better watch out what you say. So for my brother Kyrie, I hope he puts this behind him. We move forward. For those who want to fight that fight and keep on being mad about the system, well, help change the system. Do something about it. But Kyrie's about to go play some basketball. It's about to be over behind him in another 2 months. We won't be talking about it anymore at all. And so if you still have that fight in you, that dog fight in you that want to change, then fight. Then you go get black people together, go try to get stuff done and change it, man. But to ask that one man to not apologize, you know what I'm saying? When you living at your house and doing your thing, he has a whole big picture to feed, the family to feed and take care of. He sponsors a lot of stuff. So you know what? At the end of the day, if you say, man, you home and you're not his same position talking shit about someone that big who has that kind of money and influence, man, what, really? All that tough talking in the comments, I wouldn't do shit. You work at Walmart in the back loading boxes up, nigga, okay? You don't have that kind of money yet that can help so many other people. So yeah, you won't apologize because you'll go to the next Target or the next Kmart or whatever place is open. So kill that, man, if you don't live in this same kind of situation. So,
now,
and please put it in the comments for me, shit, nigga.
Now, Kyrie Irving would take to social media and issue an apology, and here's what he had to say. So Kyrie Irving posted, and he says, while doing research on YHWH, I posted a documentary that contained some false anti-Semitic statements, narratives, and language that were untrue and offensive to the Jewish race, religion, and I take full accountability and responsible for my actions. I am grateful to have a big platform to share knowledge, and I want to move forward by having an open dialogue to learn more and grow from this. To all my Jewish families and communities that are hurt and affected from my post, I am deeply sorry to have caused you pain, and I apologize. I initially reacted out of emotion of being justly labeled anti-Semitic instead of focusing on the healing process of my Jewish brothers and sisters that were hurt from the hateful remarks made in the documentary. I want to clarify any confusion on where I stand fighting against anti-Semitism by apologizing for posting a documentary without context and a factual explanation outlining the specific beliefs in the documentary I agreed with and disagreed with. I have no intentions to disrespect any Jewish cultural history regarding the Holocaust or perpetuate any hate. I am learning from the unfortunate event and hope we can find understanding between us all. I am no different than any other human being. I am a seeker of truth and knowledge, and I know who I am. Signed, Kyrie. I'm going to start with you, Danielle, on this one. So he did take the liberty to take to social media to apologize and say, hey, as Pierre mentioned, hey, I know there were some things that I didn't give context to, but let me make this very clear. So the question stands, what do we think is going to happen next with Kyrie Irving, and what do you think? I'll start with you, Danielle. What do you think will happen with Kyrie Irving after all this kind of dies down a little bit?
Let me just say this first and make this very clear. With something that should have been said earlier. And that is the film is named from Hebrew to Negro, something like that. And it claims in there that Jews are originally Black, but then it also claims that the Holocaust never happened. And I think that just that portion within itself is offensive, because the Holocaust, it happened. There have been survivors who's just passed away as early as March this year. So those people had to live through that and continue to live day-to-day lives after that and try to have some normalcy. So that is very offensive and insensitive and hurtful, especially for somebody of his influence. And I think that's another thing that contributes to it. Kyrie has a lot of influence. So even with you just posting it and not having a caption behind it, it's still a level of influence there. Going back to Capone, though, I still think that Amazon should be held accountable for having the film out there without the adversity that is supposed to be attached to it. Because when I read in the article is that Jewish groups are now asking for Amazon to make sure put disclaimers out there about the film. So Amazon is wrong for that. In terms of Kyrie's career, I think this is going to be a hard bounce back for him, basically. And I think that's because at first he didn't apologize. He did not apologize for a film that had something that was such that being insensitive to saying the Holocaust never happened. You didn't apologize. You apologized after there were repercussions put on you. So I think it's going to be a little difficult for him to bounce back from this. Do I think that he will be suspended from the league completely, or they'll just rid him? I don't know. I can't say. But at this point, his career is definitely in limbo. And I wish him all the best, because like was said earlier, he has a family to feed. And basketball is his life, it's his lifestyle. So I wish him all the best during this time.
Capone, I see you over there. I'm gonna come to you next.
Damn.
Come on.
What are your thoughts, Capone? What do you think will happen with Kyrie Irving, as we move forward from this?
First of all, Kyrie Irving is a money maker. They set the example already. The one thing that these white people fear is losing their wealth. So when you keep them wealthy, and that's why the Shaqs made the statement, the Charles Barkley made the statement, and they called him a black man an idiot. They called him an idiot on national TV. So what's more discriminating than that? But being that these guys still make money for the powers that be, they're able to do anything. Nobody is saying anything about how they disrespected this man, how all the players turned their backs on him, except maybe a few of them. And they never questioned one white person on the panel. Why wasn't Ernie Johnson questioned? Why all the black guys that, of course, Shaq brags about his money. I love Shaq to death, but right is right and wrong is wrong. So my opinion of what is going to happen to Kyrie, nothing. They're going to brush it under. We forgive you. Let's make this money. As they told LeBron James one time, shut up and dribble. And he is definitely not again, he don't see nothing wrong with that.
Let me come to you, Pierre. I heard you loud and clear when I went to Capone, so let me get your thoughts to close us out. What do you think as we see this all unfold and just the things that are to come? What do you think will happen with Kyrie Irving as we move forward?
Let me break this down in two communities, the Black community and the white or Jewish community. Both ain't gonna do shit, okay? They ain't gonna do damn thing. Think about Nick Cannon. We don't talk about his situation no more. Now we're talking about him and his babies. We're not talking about him apologizing. He had to do it, and guess what? After he apologized, like Capone said, it was swept underneath the floor. We don't hear nothing about it. Black folks ain't tripping no more on Nick Cannon. Yes, I know somebody inside the comic gonna say, I don't like Nick Cannon. But guess what? For those who don't like Nick Cannon, he got some new fans after the apology. So his money ain't going nowhere. He's still out there in the public eye. He's still doing his thing. He still got Wildin' Out, new season. So what you talking about? black folks, what you gonna do? Did you do anything but huff and puff online? I don't like it. I don't like it. And then after we got down about another 2 weeks, you shut the hell up and went to the next problem or the next situation, and we didn't stay on it. The Jews said, hey, you apologize, we're cool with it. Get back to playing basketball, or get back to your wilding out, get back to your shows. So what's gonna happen? Not a damn thing. In about 2 weeks, like I said earlier, 2 months, whatever, we won't be talking about Kyrie Irving and this situation again. He apologized. We as black folks don't do shit about it. We're gonna be like, we let slavery go at the table pretty much. You know what I'm saying? We don't, the way we've been treated in this country, we still just live under the bad but we submersed under the negativity that we had to go through all our lives, on our generation, and we still surviving. So nothing gonna do is, but he's gonna survive this situation. We're gonna still watch TNT and Shaq and them other. We're gonna still watch Tim on NBA basketball. We ain't gonna stop watching that. Yes, 1 or 2 people in the comments are not gonna watch it, but the ratings ain't going nowhere. So what are we gonna do? Not a damn thing. This was just something in the history, some news event that happened. We're talking about it now. 2 months from now, Kyrie Irving shooting that ball. We loving it. We're yelling, come on, score. Come on, Brooklyn. Come on, go up to the championship. That's it.
Well, we will definitely see. It's definitely causing a lot of conversation right now. So we'll see as we continue to move forward how it all unfolds. But of course, before we head out, I want to know what you guys have going on. So I'll start with you, Pierre. Kick us off. What do you have coming up, and how can people follow you?
Shit, after that rant, I don't want nobody to know where I'm at. Shit, no, I know black people. That. I'm like Charleston White. I'm hiding, okay? I'm just talking online. I ain't gonna be nowhere, no time soon, except online, okay? You can go to Pierre's Panic Room and watch my man George Wallace doing part 2 of his, he came back and sat down with me, George Wallace, this week. So watch Pierre's Panic Room. But live, you ain't gonna see me for a while until it died down, until y'all forget about it again. And then I'll let you know where I'm at.
Well, Capone, I see you dying laughing over there. Let me come to you next. What do you have coming up, and how can people follow you?
I am. I'm going to be. I'm going out to Detroit this weekend. It has nothing to do with comedy. I'm going out there to do some property shopping. Then the week after that, I'm going to be in Cleveland doing the Improv. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who has purchased my book. Snapback Journal is definitely they can't keep it on the shelves. Thank y'all for the support.
And how can people follow you, of course?
Oh, you can follow me on Instagram. Now, let me tell you the good thing about this. You can follow me if you're a smart person. Follow me. It's Comedian Capone. Now, most people who are not smart cannot spell comedian. Don't follow me. Thank you.
I feel shit.
And last and certainly not least, Miss Danielle Miller calling all the way from the Bahamas.
Yeah. Tell me your address. Let them know where you stay at. You saying good stuff today.
So you can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram at DEEA Miller. And I just want, when the show airs tonight, the storm will be passing over us in the wee morning hours of Wednesday, going into Thursday, and then going into the Florida Keys. So remember to keep all of us in your prayers, including that Florida coastline. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. We will definitely keep in your prayers, and be sure to check in on you and the family as well. So thank you all for chiming in on this topic. Well, you heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts on Nick Cannon defending Kyrie Irving? For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
I ain't gonna say it. It don't need to be said.
What's up, y'all? This is your boy K-Rob, and for years, you come to us to get the latest news in comedy and for your favorite comedians. Now you come to us for even more news in the world of sports, music, and pop culture. We're bringing you some of our classic shows you love, like Unforgotten, the Comedy Hype News Show, and more of our one-on-one interviews. We're more than just laughs, with the culture, the leaders in truth, and well, your streamer just got a little more blacker. Welcome to Hype Plus.